Hi there. In this video we're going to be looking at the possible reasons for the machine not emptying all the water out at the end of a wash. There are two main causes for this. Either the pump is not working for some reason or there's a blockage. In this video we're looking at the pump. Before we start work on any domestic appliance, disconnect it from the power supply first. If you still have water in the machine after the wash is finished and you can't open the door, then tilt the machine backwards and prop it up with a block of wood or something. Lower the outlet hose into a washing up bowl so it's as low to the ground as possible. If it's fixed to the rear of the cabinet by a clip, then undo it. The water should run out into the bowl. If not, then you have a blockage, but that will be covered in another video. When the flow stops, lift the hose and lower the machine. You should now be able to open the door. Move to the back of the machine and undo the screws holding the inspection plate on. Now tilt it forwards and slide a bowl under it to catch any water that may come out when the hoses are disconnected. Remove the hose from the sump first. This will release the majority of water left in the pump. Then undo the two screws under the cabinet that are holding the pump on. These screws are awkward to put very much pressure on, so normally they're hard to get out. Unplug the wiring connections and remove the pump from the cabinet. Hold it over the bowl while you remove the outlet hose, because some of these pumps have a non-return flap fitted, which prevents the water in the hose from returning into the pump. Therefore, when the hose is removed, any water left in it will flow out. If you're not sure about the pump, you can do a continuity test on it. As you can see, I'm getting a reading on my meter, so I know this is okay. Now I need to look inside the housing to see if there's any obstruction preventing the pump from working. This housing is held on by bayonet type fittings, which are locked in place by this part of the motor body. To release the housing, I'll have to depress this section and twist it anti-clockwise. Even when it's free, it still takes a bit of tugging initially to separate the two halves. Check there aren't any pins or rubber bands that may prevent the impeller from turning. The impeller doesn't spin on these pumps but moves in a jerky fashion because they're made up of carbon magnets. So don't think that the pump is faulty for this reason, because that's how they are. Now that you've taken it apart as far as this, you'll need to clean it thoroughly before reassembling, or you could end up with a leaking seal or noisy pump. If you have an old pump, don't throw it away. Use the rotor as a magnet. Very good for picking up small nails and screws if you spill them all over the floor. Check the housing the rotor sits in before replacing it. If the liquid inside is water, then empty it, but if it's oily, then leave it. Make sure it's pressed down as far as it will go and the seals are all in place before refitting the fan housing. With this type of pump, it may be an idea to rub a bit of washing up liquid around the inside edge of the fan housing, just to ease it onto the main seal. Push it down and turn it clockwise until it locks in place. Refit the wiring plug before refitting the pump. I find it easier to put one screw through the hole first and sit the pump on it, rather than trying to guess where the screw hole in the pump is. When you reattach the hoses, make sure they're all the way on before fitting the clips, or they could leak, or worse still, come off. I'm using a pair of hose clip pliers here to replace the clips, but ordinary pliers will work just as well. When you're happy that all the hoses are tight and secure and everything's as it should be, refit the inspection panel, stand the machine upright, and it's ready to be water tested. On behalf of Selfix UK, we'd like to thank you for watching this video and hope you found it interesting. Goodbye.